what do we up here consider a supercar? Stability control is not a bad thing. They're literally recording their own crimes, which is like as stupid can get.
They turned off the traction control. They were coming really fast around the turn. He hit it, lost control, and ran into a tree right in front of one of my followers.
An Audi R8 is 120% a supercar. The Huracan is so reliable, and so is the R8, that they're almost boring. 600 horsepower. It's kind of slow.
You want your car to last? We got you.
Yep. We could predict the future a little bit.
That's like PTSD right there.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to episode 3 of the Cars and Coffee podcast. My name is Arnold, Windermere Cars and Coffee. I've got Hector, Cars and Coffee Winter Garden. We are Cars and Coffee organizers in the Central Florida, Orlando region.
Yep.
And we're going to kick things off with what we just saw with an orange Corvette. And if you followed me, if you saw the last episode or two, you know that I had an orange ZR1 crashed at my event about a year and a half ago, which didn't bode very well for me. Let's cue that up. And we've seen it before. Let's just cue it up. Like the way this thing slides like a skateboard on the curb.
Oh, wow.
Shit, got that on.
Wow.
So there's another orange Corvette. Dude, I don't know, man. I know, like, we ended the last episode. We were going to be talking about what is a supercar, what's not a supercar, in regards to our cars and coffees. Not like, oh, an R8's not a supercar, a Porsche. It's more like, what do we up here consider a supercar, and we're going to put it with the other supercars, right?
Yep.
But before we get into that, dude, like, this shit pisses me off.
Oh man, this is one of those things that, you know, we talk about this. We've talked about it the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, is it that hard? Like, your car can still make noise, and you could still show people how loud and quick your car is with traction control on. Like, stability control is not a bad thing, friends. Like, it really isn't.
Yep.
You could leave it on, and it'll still, you know, rev up to 6,000-7,000 RPM. In the instance of that Corvette, about 6,400 RPM.
Yep.
And people will be like, yeah, hey, that car's fast. Or, wow, that thing sounds good.
Yep.
Keep your traction, stability, whatever your car company calls it, just keep it on for the love of God. Yep. Because now that organizer, much like you and I have had to deal with similar bullshit, that organizer is going to be dealing with some fallout.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And that's what people don't understand, that, you know, he's going to be getting a call from the city.
Yep.
From the PD.
Yep.
And probably from some of the business owners that are in the area.
Which is basically exactly what happened to me. And I mentioned that in episode 2, where after my 2 incidences at the cafe, I got a phone call from Orange County Sheriff's Office. Mm-hmm. It's funny because I actually pulled up those text messages just to like, that was an interesting text message. But I met him at Starbucks, as I had said. And that just kind of brought back, like, all these memories just kind of came back running to me. That was like 2-3 years ago for me. But dude, that's just not fun. Like, I want to play the 2 clips with the M4, which happened first, and then a month or 2 later, the Alfa Romeo, and they literally hit the exact same wall back to back. It's just that the Alfa Romeo actually went through the wall. Like, the M4 weakened it, and then the Alfa Romeo went through it. Yep. Like, let's just cue those up back to back. Let's see. Boom.
Same exact
same wall. oof, went
Wow.
through it.
Wow.
So the fallout, like I had a lot of fallout for this, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, I lost that location
Yeah.
as a part of my show, right? I could no longer go there anymore because that wall he hit belonged to an HOA. And believe it or not, there was actually a little playground that the family owned.
Oh wow.
So the playground was probably like the little play park, like plastic slides and all that stuff was probably about 7 or 8 feet away from that wall.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a huge. I mean, that's so scary to think about. Let alone there's kids and people standing in the middle of the dividers and stuff like that, taking pictures. But then, like, if a kid, an unsuspecting child was in that playground, in their backyard, playing in their playground, that's frightening.
Yep.
And I dealt with the consequences of this. The HOA president came out and started barking at me. And 2 police officers had to step in from Orange County. They had to step in and say, don't take it up with him. You're way too close, sir. You need to back up.
Yeah.
And said it's not his fault. That happened outside.
Yeah.
On, basically not on private property. It happened out there.
Yeah.
You're going to take it up with him and his insurance. You're going to take it up with FHP, which showed up.
Civil,
yeah,
basically.
civil.
Yeah.
So like this guy, like they kind of like pushed him away off of me because he was being pretty wild. And I really didn't say much back to him. I was like, take it up with FHP, take it up with him. I was like, that happened out there. It was nuts, man.
So I cannot relate to having a wreck at a show because
Fortunately,
knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Knock on wood. I haven't experienced that, thank God, in 3 years. And all I can say is it's going to happen at some point.
I hope not.
I hope not.
I really hope.
I really hope not. But and I say it in the sense because you do have people that go to these shows that just don't listen, and you try to push these issues. Like for example, if you look at that wall and you see the spectators there. Yeah. So if we play back the first Corvette video, you can see that maybe 15 feet. So
yeah, I mean,
can we play that? Can we play that video?
Yeah, this one.
So if we look,
there's people standing right there, the curb
right there
on each side.
But watch the camera here to the right. There's the kid
look
with the
at
white.
those people.
If that car would have just lost control and gone right, he would have taken him out.
There was children.
Yeah,
that was a short person, like a white shirt or something.
Yeah, that was
like children.
That was not good. And I saw that video, and it was just last weekend, and I was like, wow, I'm surprised someone didn't get hurt because you see these takeovers, and you see what they
don't
do.
Even get me started on that.
And for that stuff that we don't agree with our shows because those takeovers, it's only a matter of time before someone seriously gets
somehow
hurt.
The uninformed, people out there somehow think that a Cars and Coffee and a takeover is the same thing.
It's not.
It's not even remotely close because we're organizing this legitimately. They're organizing in like a group chat or, some form of...
They break so many laws you can see in the video.
Yeah. I mean, they're literally recording their own crimes, which is like as stupid can get.
Yeah.
It's really, really difficult. And what's funny is that I put out a video on YouTube on this very channel, and it's got 250,000 views now, and it was about just me talking about organizing Cars and Coffees. Mm-hmm. And that literally, Corvette happened about a month after I recorded that video. It was something along the lines of, I organize a Cars and Coffee and I can't take the shit no more, right? And then like that Corvette crashed at Desertland. And what I didn't know was a short while later, I think it was it was like an event or two afterwards, I had another incident, and I had no idea up until somebody told me, because, and I think Phil has this one too. He can cue this one up. It was a Ferrari.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that one. I haven't seen that one.
I didn't know about this probably weeks until weeks later. And because, everyone's standing and they're recording, somebody finally sent it to me. They're like, did you know this happened? I said, no.
Oh, wow.
There it is. Let's see.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
430.
Wow.
Spider.
Wow. So let me ask you this. This is the question. you obviously drive exotic cars.
Yeah.
And I drive the infamous Mustang, as I've mentioned 100 times.
Yeah.
And it's always the Mustang guys that get stereotyped with
And it's
this
not
stuff.
it's not true.
And do you think it's model related or make and model
No, it's
related?
the person.
It's the person,
It's
right?
the person.
That's
You can crash anything.
correct. And that's why I always get, it's always the Mustang guys. And
Not at all.
I've never, I'll be honest with you, I've, hit it a little bit when I'm leaving a show.
Who doesn't?
But never to the point where, number one, the biggest mistake I see when they on these pullouts is they hit it as they're coming out of the
a turn.
Yeah, turn.
Yeah. In the middle of a turn. They're off camber, and the car just starts wiggling.
No.
Yeah.
And then I when a couple of videos you'll see of mine is just straight and it's for like 50 feet.
Yeah.
It's just like, and then I stop and,
Yeah.
and that's it. But I actually have a video. Actually, it's not a video, picture. So before I bought this Mustang GT500 I have now, I had a 2020 with 1,000 horsepower. So the interesting story with that car is I sold it to Carvana. That and a 2012 GT500 I had because I wanted to make room for the carbon fiber track package. And as I am making the deal, getting the check signed, whatnot, the salespeople, I kid you not, I hear him running, coming, just saying, I'll take the red one, you take the silver one. And I told the sales guy, I say, hey, listen, I'm not going to give you the keys until I see a check.
Oh, okay.
No keys.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
No check, no keys. And I told him, I said, hey, listen, the silver one.
If they crash it.
The silver one, yeah, because then they crash it and it's my money, right?
It's still not, it's still technically not the dealer's car yet.
So now I have a legal battle I have to face. And I told him, I said, listen, the silver one is modified. It's got 1,000 wheel horsepower. And if you don't know what you're driving or you're inexperienced, that's a recipe for disaster. And they gave me the check, gave me the keys. That was on a Friday night. Went out to have dinner with my family. And on Tuesday, on that account, since I shut down that account, but I had over 15,000 followers and on Instagram. And next thing you know, I started getting Instagram messages and texts. And everybody was saying, hey, did you wreck your car? I was like, which one? And they said, the silver one, the GT500. And I said, no, I sold it. So they were like, is this your car? So I get this picture and the car is totaled. So what happened is exactly what you just mentioned. They turned off the traction control. They were coming really fast around a turn. He hit it, lost control, and ran into a tree that was, I'm not sure if it's a tree or a pole, right in front of one of my followers. And what happened, the story was, it was a local Ford dealership. They took it in for an oil change right after they bought it. And the loop guy took it for a test drive. And he totaled it. And it was the same, again, same thing. They didn't understand the car. I mean, it happened with a GT3 RS at another Cars and Coffee.
I was just about to say that.
And same thing. It was a young kid, right?
Yeah.
And so, I had people calling me and they were saying, people didn't even know me from other states and YouTube. And, hey, they crashed Hector's car because I had one of the first modified GT500s 2020s that when during the COVID, I was one of the first ones to modify it. And they made a YouTube video about it, a big Mustang YouTuber and Mustang lifestyle. And the Ford dealership, I'm not going to name names, but the Ford dealership contacted me and said, stop bashing my dealership. It wasn't our car. But I could see the app, the Ford app, and the car was at the dealership. So anyhow, long story short, that's what happens when you turn off traction control.
Most people are completely not qualified to drive a car that fast.
Yep.
You know what's all right? I say this to everybody, but we have 1,000 horsepower electric vehicles that any 16-year-old, well, in Florida, 16-year-old can get behind the wheel of as a Sweet 16 present, or then like you graduate, you're 18 years old, you're off to college, you get your 18th birthday present. You got Plaids that are selling for $45,000 used now, and that's 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
You've got the upper echelon of high horsepower EVs like the Lucid Sapphire, the Air Sapphire.
Yeah.
and that is 1,234 horsepower. The McLaren W1 just achieved that kind of power, and that's, you know, $2.53 million car. Okay.
Yeah.
Ferrari just achieved that kind of power in an F80. You can go and buy a Sapphire, a Lucid Sapphire, for about $250,000, or wait a little until they're, you know, about 150 used, 170 used, you know, and then you've got 1,200 some odd horsepower underneath 1 foot.
Yeah.
And you can go plow through people left and
Yeah.
right.
Oh yeah.
because you can disable stability control.
Yep.
In a Lucid, and it's hairy, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wild.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's one of the things with like my GT500, my 2021. It's if you turn off traction control, it's gonna break them loose. It's gonna go sideways on you. And you know, if you I mean, you put on track mode, and everything turns off.
Yeah.
But you go to sport mode, you have a little bit of you have traction control that helps you, but it's one of those cars that it's 760 from factory. Mine is obviously, you know, it's got some modifications done to it, and it's like, for example, when my son asks me to drive it, I always tell him, never put in track mode. You know, the first time you get a ticket, that's the last time you ever drive it. and that's because, you know, and he's pretty he respects the laws and whatnot, and he doesn't get tickets or anything like that. But I've seen, like, for example, that Porsche, that GT3 RS, that car, and now Tavares bought that car, right?
No, I was gonna buy that car.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was gonna buy that car with Jack. Jack built it.
Oh, okay.
We were going back and forth with the owner of the car because it ended up being towed to a detail shop not that far away from that Cars and Coffee. All right. So we, you know, basically I knew immediately where it was along with Jack. So Jack and I went, we looked at it. The condition of the car wasn't that bad. But you know, there were enough fixes that the number I had in my head to buy that car and the number Jack had in mind were pretty close. And we knew that if we wanted to get this car like perfect, we knew what it was going to cost. And it probably required about $60,000 in repairs. But another YouTuber bought it and he fixed it. The car is running. His name is Devin Niemela. He's in Seattle area. He's in Washington State. He ended up buying it because so our final offer on that car was $200,000, 205 maybe. The other YouTuber paid more than that, and I think it's on his videos. I'm pretty sure he's disclosed how much it was. It was something like 220 or something. But then they also wanted like a $20,000 finder's fee. Yeah, I don't remember them asking that from us. I don't recall that at all. But he paid a lot for that car. That car had a pretty high sticker. Yeah. But it was used. A lot of people thought that was like the second time the car had ever been driven or anything like that. No, the car's actually had miles on it. It was like a couple of thousand miles. Nothing crazy. Yeah. But it had a couple of thousand miles on it. Not the most desirable spec, in my opinion. You know, the color wasn't wild, whatever. But it's like, it's not PTS, so like the car gets delivered quicker, which I totally understand why people do that. And I did that with my 911. When I ordered mine, I got it in Guards Red, which was, you know, free color at the time for 2024, and I got the car in 4 months. Yeah. Right, so I get it. But nonetheless, the spec of the car wasn't terribly crazy, but, you know, it had, I think it was Weissach. So that was a huge plus for that car, the fact that it was Weissach. But either way, we were like 200, 205 on that car, and I really didn't want to contribute anymore because Jack was going to raise money through his connections, and I was going to throw in some of my money. Yeah. Just some whatever I had laying around, like as play money. Yeah. And ultimately, we just really didn't want to get into a bidding war on that car. We stood firm, and it went to that other YouTuber, and it is what it is. Yeah. No regrets. Yeah. So,
well, let me ask you this on that note. That car is an interesting car because what's the sticker on a GT3 RS, the 2023, 24 model, the 24 model.
So if you're looking at just pure sticker base, I think the base is in the high 200s.
Yeah.
But no one specs them that way. Like
Yeah.
no one ever specs it base. Like a lot of people go PTS, which
Yeah.
is, for people who aren't familiar with PTS, that's Porsche's like paint to sample. So paint to sample colors can range from $5, $10, $15, $20,000,
Yeah.
and that means that the car goes into a completely different area after it's assembled to get painted outside of the main assembly line. So that becomes a holdup.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen cars. I've seen, if you include sticker markups,
Yeah.
adjusted dealer markups are like, at one point they were 150,000.
Correct.
So I mean, those cars got close to $500,000.
Well, that's an interesting story because before I go into the question I was going to ask about
Okay.
about that particular car,
Yeah.
I had offered when they first came out 100,000 over sticker for one, and they declined my offer.
That
was early.
I would have slapped you if you did that.
Yeah. I mean 100,000 over sticker. But this is like, I mean, I'm very particular when I invest in a car, and with that car, I noticed. I mean, again,
Everyone started getting one.
everybody started. Getting
Everyone started getting one.
And for everybody that knows, I don't own a supercar. I haven't even sat in a supercar. I mean, it's
Really?
yeah, it's weird, but
you should sit in mine.
yeah, definitely need to because
Low key brag.
I've never rode in one. I just I've always just been that Mustang guy, right? I'm a very simple person. So but obviously now, I understand the type of machine they are. So why they cost so much money. But
it's
anyhow,
like a scalpel versus, a finely tuned hammer.
correct.
I don't know how to explain it better.
But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying
Okay.
because it's something, it's a lot, it's exotic, right?
Yeah.
Super. So my question that or what I hear a lot, and a little bit of a, excuse my ignorance on this, but what is a supercar and what is not? That's a big question that that I hear. Like, for example, perfect example, Audi R8.
Right. Yeah. So that's
Versus
where we
Lambo.
ended off our last week's conversation. So you're okay. So this is like one of those things that really eats at people. An Audi R8 is 120% a supercar. You can't, any way you slice it, that's a Lamborghini Huracan. So if people are going to call a Lamborghini Huracan a supercar, then so is an R8.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same engine. It's the same transmission. The underpinnings are identical. I think the suspension is basically the exact same.
Yeah.
The power is like 20 to 30 horsepower less, depending on which model of R8, because they've made like a base R8 rear-wheel drive car, which is like 540 horsepower.
Yeah.
But then like the highest spec R8, I think, is the GT, has 640 horsepower, and that's not even real horse. That's like European. It's really 632 horsepower. So it's like the LP 640.
Yeah.
Huracan, it's actually 630 some odd horsepower, 631 or 32. Let's just round it up, right? So, yeah, I mean, everything is basically the same as a Huracan. An R8 is a supercar.
Yeah. And let's see, and this is what I hear. Okay, and as we've had a private conversation about this, that I am going to purchase a supercar in the very near future.
Yeah.
And
make sure it's the right one.
Exactly, but that's why we're gonna have a lot of conversations. I'm gonna probably bore you to death with the questions.
I don't mind being bored to death. I love helping people buy nice supercars.
It's one of those things where this is what I hear. The R8's a lot more comfortable.
It is.
More
seats
headroom.
are better.
More headroom.
Not. I can't remember. I'll tell you this: the R8 has a different windshield. It's a higher windshield, so yeah, it does have a little bit more headroom.
Okay.
So, for example, so my brother has a Performante, which is freaking awesome, right? That thing is just nuts, but it's not comfortable. When I did the review of his car, my best friend who's sitting right next to me, he was like, "You got to pull over." I'm like, "Why?" In the middle of a review.
Yeah.
He's like, "You got to pull over." Why? He's like, "My back is killing me."
Yeah.
And true, I drove the Performante from Long Island to a casino in Connecticut, and about a 160-mile drive or so. And yeah, by the end of that trip, I wasn't feeling it. Like,
Yeah.
I get it,
Yeah.
you know? So, and the other thing with the Huracan is that the windshield is so raked
Yeah.
that when you pull up to a light, if you're the first car at a light, you're doing one of these. Like, you're looking, you're breaking your leg to see, like, your neck to see if it's green or not.
Yeah.
Super annoying.
Yeah.
On the R8, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a bit more of a daily friendly car. It's more favorable to drive. It's more preferable to drive every day.
Mm-hmm.
But those are sacrifices in terms of daily comfort. Doesn't mean that it's not a supercar because it can still do everything else.
Yeah, because a lot of people say they don't have the wow factor. And
in the right color, they do.
I've seen some specs in the R8s where you're like,
freaking
you're
nutty
wow.
Specs.
Yeah, you're wow. But it brings me to the next car, and this is a car that I personally love, and that's the GT3 RS.
Yep.
And
I do too.
Not the new one, but the
991.
Yeah, 991.
Okay.
And I love that car, and everybody that I've spoke to says this is a handling machine.
Yeah.
And
scalpel.
Yeah. But if you have 200, what are they? 220 to 280,
225, yeah,
somewhere around
for
there.
a good one.
For a good nice one. And they say either just step up another 30 and get you a 720S because it looks more exotic. But
I would say no.
I'd
make that argument too.
But the question is, if you want a track focused car, because what I've heard about the 720, because I'm starting to do my research, because I will tell you that the three cars I'm torn between is a GT3 RS 991, a 720S 2020 or model or newer.
Yeah, don't get an 18 or 19. Yeah,
this is a very
Wild
expensive one. Well, it's probably the one that I'm gonna end up with.
Oh, I know it. Okay, because you're that guy.
I am that guy, and that's a Ford GT.
Yeah, I knew it.
2005, 2006 model. And so the only thing is that I've always been a manual guy.
Yeah.
And I've since become a dual clutch automatic guy.
Really?
After I
didn't know that. You never told.
After I drove the GT500.
Never told me that. Okay.
Because it's just a different. They shift so quick, and you have the paddles, and
here's the thing, right? So I've had a handful of manual cars myself, and I'm inclined to agree with you. I love dual clutch.
Yeah.
I love the right dual clutch.
Yeah.
Like on the 458 and my old McLaren 570S, even actually my Artura. Yeah. So I still obviously have the 458, and I traded the 570S for an Artura. Yeah. The way those dual clutches are designed is they're meant to like kick you in the back of your head.
Oh yeah,
every time
absolutely,
they shift, right?
Absolutely,
which is really fun.
Yeah.
The R8 and the Huracan, by default, are not tuned that way. They do not like. It's like almost like a CVT.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest problem with those two cars in particular. That platform, the R8 platform and the Huracan, is that like you're driving that car, and every time you go for like you want to feel a little bit of abuse from the car. You know, you want the car to treat you a little like shit, you know, like a really gorgeous woman's going to treat you like shit, right? Like that's what I keep saying. I said that about the Ferrari.
Yeah.
Like I have, a weird relationship with cars. And that's what the McLaren is as well. The Huracan is so reliable, and so is the R8, that they're almost boring.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, the Huracan and the R8, that's why they have that programmed burbling.
Yeah.
Right? Because the burbles are always the exact same on both those cars, especially the Huracan.
Correct.
It's always 1, 2, 3. It's the same no matter when you do it.
Yeah.
Because it's programmed.
Yeah.
On other cars that naturally have burbles on the overrun, like the 458, 2010 and 11 had burbles, right? It had crackles and pops and all that. That really wasn't programmed. That was just the character of the car.
Yeah.
Right? And it was always, for the most part, different.
Yeah.
Right? You downshift and the revs are dropping, and it's blah, 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 blah. I mean, just making these incredible noises, and they're fairly different, What happened was on the 458, I guess people were I don't know who was complaining, probably some liberals or something in Europe. Some wonderful people.
Yeah, there you go.
in the left culture. People probably complaining because there are noise ordinances in a lot of European cities, and this is what happened with Jaguar and the F-Type and the F-Type R specifically, that they have to tune out the overruns on 458s from 2012, 13, 14.
Yeah.
was the last year? I think 15 was the last year. So like 10 and 11, 458s were the only ones that burbled a lot.
Yeah.
Later on, there was some kind of either noise regulation and maybe emissions regulation where they had to tune that out. The F-Type was the same thing. They were so crazy, so loud that they had to tune that out, a lot of that away, and they had to fit a more aggressive valve, which you could disable, which I had on my 2020. I disabled that valve. When you got a lot of that pops and bangs, all of it came back. But dual clutches, going back to what you were saying, the right one is a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Manuals. If you got a Ford GT, you have to ask yourself this question. I can't imagine that a Ford GT is that easy to drive. Probably has a heavy clutch.
Probably does.
If I had to guess, that looks like the type of car like a Testarossa.
Yeah.
Or an old turbo 911. Like, looks like it has a heavy clutch.
Yeah.
Or an old GT3, 911.
And me,
would you drive that every day?
I would definitely wouldn't drive
often?
that car. No, it would be, every other month or something like that.
Yeah. See, that's no fun.
Yeah.
Every other month, that's not fun at all.
Well, I know, a lot of people tell me. I mean, I look when I buy a car, and like I mentioned, like even when I made that offer for that 3 RS,
yeah,
I knew they were not gonna take it, but that was like my limit, and I try to buy the cars in a smart way, to where if I do get bored of them, or if I say, hey, I made a buyer's remorse, basically, I'm not going to end up in a situation where I lose a lot of money. And some of these supercars you can make, it can go either way. So
I don't think the GT3 RS, the 992, I don't think it'll be one of those cars.
My fear is when the 2 RS drops.
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear. And it's the same thing with, like, for example, the GT 500 that I have. Its sticker was 95. They were selling for 115, 120, as much as 150.
Yeah.
They went down to the 90 range. Now they're back up in the 105 to 108. Yeah. And I bought that car, 3 years ago, brand new. And that same car, I could get exactly what I paid for it today.
Yep.
And that's a good thing, because then, I drove it for 3 years, enjoyed it, and, got all my money back. So I look into that. And the Ford GT, as that car I know, that supercar I know. And a sticker on that car was 146, 148 new.
Yeah.
And now all day long, 500,000. Yeah. And they're only going to go up.
I remember when they were down to 100 grand for GTs, 90.
It's crazy.
My wife had a customer. She had a client. She was head of sales at an AT&T store in New York. Okay. And she had this doctor who only went to see her. He didn't like any of the other people. She has a way with people, my wife's. And, like, I'm just watching her talk to this client who's very demanding. He's a doctor, and then, like, his thing to other sales reps there was like, I've had a hard day. I don't want your bullshit. Okay. And so the one time, like, he went and she hooked him up with a new phone. Like, she created a new line for him. She got him a new phone. He was like, you know what? From now on, I'm only going to talk to you. But he had a Ford GT. And I'm sitting, looking at this guy. I'm like, God, this guy's a doctor. He's in his scrubs and everything. And he pulls up in a red Ford GT, white stripes, with I believe he had a son. Yeah, I saw him twice go there. One time with him, without his son. So I'm like, man, this dude's got the life, right? He's got the life. He's got a Ford GT. Yeah. And I remember at the time I had my 350Z. And I looked up the price of a Ford GT at the time. This was 2008, 2009. It was like, holy shit, it's like 90 grand, 95 grand. I couldn't believe how cheap it was, and not that I'm saying $95,000 is not a lot of money, but compared to where it is now, where you're $500,000, $600,000, holy moly, dude, like, it's insane.
They start anywhere between, if you find one that's 450, it's either has 25,000 miles.
Yeah, it's a higher mileage car.
But that car, I think we both agree, that car is only going to go up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that car will never, ever drop below that.
Golf livery 4GT is like the it car, in my opinion. There's no better spec. Yeah. Maybe you disagree with me, but to me, Golf livery.
Yeah, yeah. If
I ever had a Ford, and I know somebody who has a Golf livery on their 4GT factory.
Wow.
And he lives in Windermere. And a former golfer. I mean, every time I see this car, and I'm like, and it's got an upgraded supercharger.
Oh, wow. Well, no, that's the car. And that car, now you're talking about because of the price and the rarity. It's now like hypercar.
It's
maybe not performance, but
yeah,
just the wow factor,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So going to the next car would be that supercar or not, which I think it is supercar, is the Turbo S. Looks a lot more plain, but as far as
I'm gonna disagree with you on that.
well, what about what I'm referring to is just the
Statistically,
engine power.
Power. Okay.
I mean, it seems like
it's a
Porsche really loved that car and put all this power into that car.
It's a very soft platform. The Turbo S steering's not as nice as any GT car that they have, GT3 or whatever, and RS and up. Because the Turbo S is a really high powered GT car. It's great on the track, but it's very boring. It's very dull. Yeah. I've never heard, and not one person who owns, and I've known so many people who had Turbo S's who sold them within a year, who came out of like a McLaren or a Ferrari or a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
I know a handful of people, right, just from my Cars and Coffee.
Yeah.
They're like, I regret buying this car. And they sold it within a year.
Yeah.
And they go back to what they originally had or a newer version of what they had. So if they had a 650S, they ended up going to a 720S.
Yeah.
With the Porsche being in the middle, the Turbo S.
Is it because of the wow factor? Or
yeah,
it's
a
very basic looking car.
It's a basic looking car. It does not sound good.
Yeah.
No matter what you do to it, you could straight pipe it, and that car just sounds worse.
Yeah.
No matter what you do to that car, it does not sound good.
Yeah.
It doesn't look terribly aggressive. It's a little wider. The rear end looks wider and bigger, and then there's a wing and all that other stuff, and there's some active aero. But for the most part, you can have a 911S like my old one, with the aero kit on it, which my car had the full aero kit.
Yeah.
And apart from, if the rear quarter panel has to have an air intake, over there. If details like that, cool. Most people didn't realize that my car was just a regular 911S. So they thought it was a higher end because it had the aero kit on it.
Well,
and that's the problem with Porsches inherently, and that's where the GT3 RS solves all of that.
Well, with the 3RS, and I love the car, and it's one of my favorite cars. Honestly,
Mine too. I'd love to have an RS.
It's just I love both 3RSs, 991, 992.
Yep.
And they are both nice, but then you have for example, where I get a little confused is you have the ST.
So the ST is like a more hardcore version of a GT3.
But is it a supercar or not? Because it's a very basic.
So here's car. Exactly. So you have the ST, but you also have the SC, and the SC is a 911 turbo with a manual. Okay, so you've got those two cars, which are really rare, low production, low volume cars, but they possess a high demand.
Yeah. Maddie has one.
Matt, right. Matt, our friend Matt has one. He has an ST. The Porsche dealership owner here, Porsche South Orlando, he had an SC that he would bring out and drive, and he loved that car. He said it was really cool.
Yeah.
And both of those cars are worth more than their sticker price, right?
Is that a silver one?
Oh, which one?
The one for the SC?
I don't remember what color I think it was chalk. I don't remember what color the SC was.
There was one that went to my show that someone pointed out. They're like, that's a rare car. And that's I didn't even know what it was at the time.
I don't remember.
And I looked at it and I'm like, that's basic.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen the SC. I'm pretty sure he sold it. Because he owns a car dealership. If he's got a nice number on the car, he's like, I'm going to part ways with this thing. There's no sense in him keeping something when he stands to make a pretty good amount of money on it. But so there's these two cars that are in this weird upper echelon of 911s, that are technically above a GT3 RS, just because their price tag is so obscene.
Yeah.
But are they supercars?
That's the question.
No, but they're not, because they're not as fast as a supercar, right? They are they're fairly underpowered.
Yeah.
With all things considered, let's look at what's going on in the supercar world today. 600 horsepower is kind of slow.
Yeah, I know. It's not like the old days. 600 horsepower. You're like, wow.
Yeah.
Now it's
You've got a Maserati with like 620
Yeah.
horsepower, 600
Yeah.
whatever horsepower, and they didn't sell.
Yeah.
They couldn't give them away.
Yeah.
You know, Maserati dealers were trying to mark these things up, and like the high-end Ferrari owners who were in with the Maserati, because it's all the same network, right?
Yeah.
So the Ferrari dealership would be like, look, buy this Maserati for like 30 over sticker, please,
Yeah.
and then we'll get you on the list for this new Ferrari that's going to come out. So like they're like, you know, they're funneling these Maseratis as a way to sell more Ferraris. It was so backwards. But nonetheless, I know a handful of people that bought the Maserati MC20. I drove it. I did a video on it. I loved it.
Yeah.
But I knew people who paid almost $300,000 for them, 310, 320.
Yeah.
Was it?
Ouch.
Absolutely not.
Ouch. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are McLarens out there, like a 750 for that money, for $300K. That is 10 times the car that the Maserati is, but the same price.
Yeah.
And now look what's going on with these Maseratis, the MC20s. You can get them for like the high 100s.
Yeah.
Right? In a couple of years. But if a Maserati MC20 comes to my show, it's still parking with supercars. Because at the end of the day, it looks like a supercar. It drives like a supercar. The doors go up. You know, it's super impractical.
It looks cool.
It looks
cool,
gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a cool
It looks
car.
insanely cool.
Yeah, it's a cool looking car.
You know, the new version of the MC20, which has the worst name ever. It's like MC. God, what is the name of it? It just got revealed at Goodwood a few weeks ago, and everyone's been clowning on it. They're like, "Oh, it's like McDonald's. You know, it's something you off of a dollar menu at McDonald's because it's like MC something." And most people actually thought that it was an electric or hybrid car because the name just kind of gives you this hybrid or EV type of vibe to it. But they dropped the numbers, you know, from it. Why? Like MC20 sounds cool.
Yeah.
All they had to do was they should have just added a little more power to the car because 620, 630 just wasn't enough. And the car's pretty heavy. It's like 3,900 pounds.
Yeah.
And you kind of feel that weight.
Yeah.
So like the car pulls pretty well up to 60, 70.
Yeah.
And then it kind of dies off, you know? But that is inherently the problem with a lot of car manufacturers is like they overcharge for their cars.
Another car I'm going to throw at you is the Acura. The
NSX supercar all day.
NSX.
All day supercar.
Yeah.
All
so,
the tech.
But
yeah.
a lot of people.
Supercar. No. That's not a sports car.
Yeah.
That car is, you know.
To me, it looks cool. I love that car.
So pretty.
I think it's pretty
Such
car.
a pretty looking
I think
car.
it's a cool car. When someone actually says, "Oh, that's just an Acura NSX,"
because it looks like a supercar, right?
Yeah.
So that's where, just like the Maserati looks like a real supercar. It's properly designed.
Yeah.
The Acura NSX, every time they'll show up, and I actually looked at buying one. Every time they'll show up, they're going to supercar.
Yeah.
Right. So the design of the car, notwithstanding, like let's put that aside. Then you've got the performance of the car and the technology in the car. It's like a Japanese Porsche 918.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's got the hybrid,
Yeah.
It's got all these components to it. It's a Japanese 918.
Yeah.
Like a Japanese McLaren Artura, which again is a car that I currently own.
Yeah.
And it's you know, it's literally, in a way, if you think about it, McLaren may have looked at the NSX recipe and said, "Hey, a V6 supercar with a hybrid, yeah, that works.
Yeah.
We're going to do that too." And they did.
Yeah.
And it does work.
Yeah.
Not a lot of, you know, a lot of people, everyone that's driven an Artura loves it. They're just worried about its reliability because the first year or two of that car was horribly unreliable.
That's
but it
the
was
thing
all
about
software.
McLaren, though, right? That's either it's a misconception or because this is what I've read about the 720.
Yeah.
And because again, 720's on the list.
Yeah. And
And
it should be. And I think that's the car you should buy.
and I think it's high up there because for bang for your buck, I don't think you can beat a 720S.
No.
And I think they've hit, again, me being the finance guy and thinking about numbers, I think they've hit their bottom or near the bottom. And I think they might go down a little bit.
Yeah.
I just think the 570
Yep.
and the
Mile
600
car.
LT
Yeah.
hold, they are like the safety net for the 720. So
Yes.
I think the 720 until those drop, the 720 is never going to be at that price.
So, okay, so the 720S is the hypercar beater.
Yeah.
There are videos of 720s, and it was Drag Times that used to have all these videos before they took them down because they were doing it on like a public road. But Brooks from Drag Times had his first 720S. He had a friend with a 918, and after like 140, 150, the 720 started walking a 918.
Oh yeah.
Dude, like, are you kidding me? This $320,000 McLaren is stomping a $900,000, $800,000, almost $1 million car, basically, with 850 some odd horsepower. That is crazy talk. Yeah. So McLaren is like one of those companies. It's kind of like Nissan with the GTR. Nissan released the GTR in 2009, late 2008, but as of 2009 or whatever, late 2000s, 2008, 2009 in Japan. And they were beating everything under the sun. Yeah. McLaren's like that kind of company. They're the startup still. Yeah. They're still in their infancy. It's been about 12, 13 years, since the first car came out, the MP412C. Because
Supercar, no Supercar, that.
MP412C?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a Supercar because it's, because if you have an MP412C, even though it's a 2012, McLaren offered you the ability to go and upgrade the horsepower to 620, 630 horsepower, even though the car originally came with 580 or 590, right? So, and they're so light, the power to weight ratio was bananas on those things. They weigh 3,100 pounds. Yeah. Right? Like imagine 620, 650 horsepower, which the 650S later got. Imagine that power with 3,100 pounds. Yeah. My 570S, which, and if anybody knows McLaren's, everyone knows they're underrated. Yeah. A 720S dyno is like 700 to the wheel. Yeah. Yeah. Right? So that's probably realistically making high 700s. Yeah. And there's a reason why these cars also dyno so much. And that's because powertrains have gotten really efficient. Dual clutch transmissions, they don't have a lot of drivetrain losses. Yeah. And turbos on top of that really help with that. So like, so again, that's why a lot of these cars, they dyno really well when they're twin turbo and they have all this other stuff going on with them, like dual clutches.
Yeah, the 720 is...
It's a monster.
It's a monster.
It's a monster.
I actually, when I had my silver GT500, the one we discussed earlier, it 1,000 wheel horsepower, and the only car that pulled me, and it was at about a 50 roll, was a 720, and just barely. Yeah. But I'm at 4,300 pounds. Yeah. Because the GT500 is heavy.
Heavy car. Yeah.
Heavy car. And that's, I'm like, man, that's a rocket.
Yeah. I mean, that's the difference, right?
Rocket.
You can have 300 or so more horsepower. Yeah. But this car weighs 1,000 pounds less. Yeah. It'll still take you, in the higher, especially the higher
aerodynamics.
Yeah, the aero is a huge component, and McLaren knows aero like no other company. Yeah. They've got aero down to a T.
And the 720 has the wow factor.
Does have
it looks like a supercar.
The doors, the way the doors go up, everything,
the wing, everything. I mean, it's a nice car.
The way the doors go up on a 720, it's like part of the roof panel goes up with the door, right?
Yeah.
And that is so just boss, dude. Like, it's so cool,
Going back to a car you just mentioned, and I've heard arguments to the point where almost fist fight broke out for this car. GTR. Supercar? No supercar.
Supercar beater. It's not quite. It's a supercar beater. Supercar performance. But it's too big, bulky, heavy, but handles still like it's on rails. That's one of those 50-50 cars. Yeah, that's a lot of people will get.
They get insulted when you say.
Yeah, that is the closest I think a car straddling the line of sports car and supercar. Yeah, because you can, you've got the Nismo, which is 640 horsepower. It's a lot of 620, 640 horsepower cars out there, but the Nismo is 600 also 40 horsepower car, and that thing is 200,000, 225,000 new. Yeah, and for that money, I mean there's some legitimately credible supercars out there. I mean, in this day and age, it's not a supercar because it's been, well, now finally production's ended, right? 24 I think was the last year for GTRs, but the car ran for 16 years of
It's
production.
an amazing car.
It's
I love that
absolutely
car. Yeah, it's
amazing.
amazing car.
My friend has an awesome GTR. Okay, my friend Paul, I mentioned him in the last podcast, and he bought it. First thing he did, he went into like stage 2 or something on it, and he's like, "This thing is a rocket," and it is. It's super fast.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, a lot of its hardware is pretty outdated.
Yeah.
It's got one of those dual clutches, and it's a 6-speed. Like I don't think there's any other car that was on the market with a 6-speed dual clutch, right?
Yeah.
Everything else went 7, 8 speeds.
Yeah.
There's probably a 9-speed that I can't think of, but for the most part, 7 and 8-speed dual clutches were the standard.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and the GTR was on the market for that long with a 6-speed, and they were so clunky.
Yeah.
You know, it felt like you were driving something from 2008.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't really make that many revisions to it. There was some software tweaks here and there.
Yeah.
But it still felt a little clunky.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, the Ferrari, my 458, has that clunk factor to it.
Yeah.
Because those, what is it? The Get Drag, I think, was the gearbox manufacturer for Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's, what's the other Italian company? Grazioni?
Mm-hmm.
Could have been that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I think it's Get Drag because they also made the same transmission for the Black Series AMGs. But it's got that clunk factor.
Yeah.
And so, like, I drive the Ferrari, and I'm like, this is a car that came out in 2009.
Yeah.
You know, as a 2010 model, but
Yeah.
you know, that's where the technology was. You know, they were developing these cars with these dual clutches, and they worked with what they could work with.
Yeah.
You know, with time, they improved it, but nonetheless.
Well, we keep saying, you know, like our shows, and we talk about this. We talked about this last episode, and it's if a GTR driver comes
Supercar
to the
parking.
show,
Supercar
parking.
parking,
I
yeah.
do the same.
Yeah.
I try to separate the cars as much as I can.
Yeah.
But you know that when you start going brands and all that stuff, some people get offended.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I like to say to all of our enthusiasts that go to our shows, at least from my perspective, and I'm pretty sure you agree with this, is it's not personal.
It's never personal.
It's never personal. Some of these guys, and like we've said previously, they are buddies. They show up. They you know, rolled in together. They rolled in together, and they want to, you know, park with their buddies.
Yeah.
So we as show coordinators, we try to, you know, basically facilitate that for them and say, hey, we've got some spots for you here. We reserve some cones, park here. And then you have the guys, oh, I want to park over there.
Yeah.
And
we talked about
you
that
know,
last time.
yeah. And it's not personal. And I just want to make that clear. Like, it happened at my last show, where someone got their feelings hurt because I didn't park them there. And it was just reserved for, you know, some people. And it's like the Corvette, right? The C8, the ZR1. Supercar, not supercar.
Supercar.
I think it's a supercar.
Supercar,
it's
all
a
day.
Fast supercar.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's great. But some people think it's just a Corvette, but it's not.
It's not.
It's not just a Corvette.
That's just crazy. No 1,000 or 1,100 horsepower car is just a Corvette.
Exactly.
I mean, they've gone through so much trouble to. I mean, I think like virtually every single body panel on the ZR1, especially ZR1X, is different apart from maybe the roof. I think the doors are different.
Yeah.
Obviously, the front bumpers, the hood, the quarter panels, all that stuff is different.
Yeah.
You know, this is something, again, like your GT500. The only thing that's the same between the GT500 and a regular GT are the headlights, taillights, and the windshield, probably.
Yeah.
Right? And I guess by default, because the windshield's the same, the roof might be the same.
Yeah.
Right? But for the most part, no, not for all intents and purposes, the ZR1's a supercar.
Oh, yeah. I agree. 100%. 100%.
100%.
So, but even with my GT500, sometimes they park it with supercars, sometimes they don't. I would say that the GT500, and I've been in rallies, you know, on rallies with supercars, and it holds its own.
Yeah, of course it would.
Is it a supercar? I think deep down it's not. I think it has the performance of at least the entry level supercars.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a supercar.
Yeah.
But then again, it was one of the only cars with carbon wheels, you know, carbon fiber wheels.
Yeah, that's true.
And it held for a long time. It was one of the cars with the largest front brake rotors. You know, so
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
yeah. I think the only one that had a similar size or beat the size of the front rotors was the Lamborghini Urus. And so Urus, or however you pronounce
Yeah.
it. But you know, the brakes, huge brakes. So it did have some things that, you know, and of course it has a dual clutch. It has a Tremec.
Yeah.
Tremec dual clutch. So no other Mustang has that transmission. It's only the GT500. So is it a supercar? Like I said, maybe not. It doesn't hurt my feelings if they park me away from the supercar. I more or less like to park with my buddies. I
Yeah.
don't care where you park me. If I'm going to a show, park me next to my buddies, and I'm a happy camper. But that's the question, and I just don't think that people should get offended and if you don't park them with the supercars. Because yeah, everybody wants the wow factor, but at the end of the day, we're there to have fun.
We're you know, the organization is that we're putting together a showcase.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not a showcase if, you know, something just kind of spoils it right in the middle.
Yeah.
Right? Like we talked about this last time. Just people have to understand. Like, we are laying all this out, and we're visualizing it in our head to look a certain way so that it's, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you go to a store, you go to a, you know, Rolex store, a watch store, any watch store, jewelry store. They're not going to put 14 karat gold, you know, or plated gold with, you know, platinum.
Yeah.
Or a bracelet with diamonds. No, they're going to put other bracelets with diamonds all around it, right?
Correct.
Everything has its place.
Yeah.
And like, I just hate to put it that way, but everything has its place. I'll tell you what, this is like a little bit of a philosophy that I have. So I grew up in New York City, and when I was younger, I would go to clubs. Like, you start growing up, you know, you're 18, 19 years old, you start going to clubs, then you hit 21, you start to drink legally. And the way that it's so messed up the way they do it, but it's I get it, right? And Miami's the same way. They won't let in 3 dudes at a time.
Yeah.
They just won't, because the club needs to have a bunch of like gorgeous girls fill up the place first before it becomes a sausage fest. So like, I would notice that basically they'll let in a whole bunch of girls first. They'll tell the guys to wait off to the side, and they'll let in like 2 or 3 guys. So like, for every 10 girls, they'll let in 2 guys. That's just a ratio. It's totally normal. Yeah. And, you know, I always like it bothered me when I was younger, but then I understood, you know, because they have to have certain appearance at the club, right? They, like I said, they don't want it to be a sausage fest. Yeah. And so when I started doing the car shows and I noticed how many exotics were coming in, I was like, well, I got to prioritize these exotic cars, because that's what a lot of people seem to be coming for. So the exotics are pulling in the dudes with like the GTRs and the AMGs and the M3s and the M4s and all that other stuff. Because, you know, some of these kids are 20, 21, 25, whatever, and they have these cars already. They have these AMGs and M cars and RS cars. So, and they want to come and check out the supercars. Yeah. And that's why they're there. So it's like there's this gravitational effect. And to me, the supercars were like these beautiful women going to the club, you know, and the guys and the other cars, like, you know, the enthusiasts with their AMGs and their M's, and to some extent 911s, were the dudes, you know, who were getting attracted by seeing all this display of supercars. Yeah. It's kind of like up here, that's kind of how I perceived it. It sounds a little bizarre, maybe, but that's just how I perceived it.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we talked about previously, both of our shows are they are a little different, just different type of
the way you started and the way,
yeah, and like, for example, Windermere being, you know, high end upscale neighborhood or city, and you have, I mean, I consider your show having hypercars too, because you've seen a lot of hypercars.
Yeah, we've had more than a handful.
And that's you know, not just supercars but hypercars.
Yeah,
it's where, you know, like the saying, where the millionaire meets the billionaire, right?
Exactly.
And it happened that one show that I volunteered to cover for one of the other Cars and Coffees, I was out there coordinating in the pavement, and I had guys with Huracans really pissed off because I wouldn't put them inside.
Oh, okay.
And they were upset as can be. And then you had a guy with a 765 LT, which that's one of the best looking cars there is. Yeah, it's an amazing looking car. And it's fast as hell too.
It's frighteningly fast.
So you had a 765, and I would say 765 inside.
Yeah.
and then you have a Ford GT inside.
Yeah.
And then then you would have like a Porformonte. It's like borderline. And we would
Rare enough production that I would say inside.
Inside, yeah, we put
Production
him,
matters.
We put him outside, and then you had Hamilton brought his cars that time.
Yeah, I remember.
And you had the Bugatti and hypercars. So yeah, we put obviously them inside. But
it was a show. Yeah,
you had a lot of cars and supercars that actually, when they get the favoritism, I wouldn't say favoritism, but when they get preferential treatment, or VIP, let's just call it VIP treatment, so it doesn't bug anybody. So they get VIP treatment because obviously, like I said, they roll together. They spend a lot of money on their cars. They have a nice car. So we're getting upset, but I didn't set the rules. The rules were we only have limited space inside, and you're not going to park a 765 LT outside, and you're not going to park a Bugatti outside, being that's the people who the show is for, or brought the cars for the show. But it's those cars are, I think all cars and coffee. I mean, all cars that go to our shows are great, but it's just sometimes like the Corvette guys at my show like to park in their row, and
they're all to themselves.
They take out their lawn chairs, and they have their little signs, like their book of how they got the car, all that stuff, with the New Balances and the tube socks and the jorts. So, but that's how they are happy that way. And then you have the people that have the in-betweens that get upset. And I just say that, enjoy the show and bring your cars and park wherever and enjoy the show. Just, don't feel like
no expectations.
Yeah. Don't feel like you have to go to the shows and be up front to be VIP, because you have some people, and of course I'm not going to mention any names, but you have some people that just want to be like the center of attention.
I know.
And that's and you probably know exactly what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, people start noticing those things. So just have fun, enjoy the show.
Yeah, just come in, sit or park, hang out, sit down if you need to. It's one of those things. I mean, like, I think a lot of people sometimes want to seek some sort of validation in the car community. I'm indifferent. I've gone to cars and coffees where like I just go park in a corner somewhere, whatever, or not. It doesn't matter. Like if there's an opportunity to park in the center, cool. But if sometimes I've seen it where like, oh, that's really crowded. Yeah. I'm just going to kind of find a parking space anywhere and just park and then talk to my friends and head out.
Yeah, that's what I do for the most part. But I do, when I roll in with the buddies, you took it and you rallied in and whatnot. I think it's a good idea to park together. I like parking with them. You remember the Desertland show? I wanted to park with them and they sent me another direction and whatnot. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I left earlier, so it was actually pretty good. I parked where I parked. But it's
you parked. You guys all parked together. You were in the circle, right?
No, I'm talking about the Hamilton show. Remember, I was on the outside. Yeah. So I brought 30 cars with me, and they split us off.
I thought you were talking about my show.
Yeah. No, your show. We
you were all together.
Yeah, we were all together, and everybody loved that. And everybody said thank you for that, because they were like, okay, we rolled in, tell Arnold thank you, and it was a phenomenal show. It was a phenomenal show, but I just, again, as we speak about what happens in the cars and coffee, that's one of the things that I pretty much dread having to deal with, because we're sitting out there dealing with something really big, and then someone's standing there waiting for you to complain that they didn't park in this area. And that's they hold traffic, and you have to keep it flowing, and there's so many things that if you're starting a cars and coffee, be ready for that. Because you are going to get that. You're going to,
especially once you get, especially once you get of a certain size, and if you want to organize it similarly to how you and I organize it. Yeah. But if it's a free for all and people park anywhere, they're not going to get complaints, because people are just going to park anywhere they want.
Yeah.
But if you want to organize it to a certain caliber, you're going to get people who will literally wait, and this happens to me all the time, who will literally wait as you're in the middle of controlling traffic, sending cars left, right, and center. Hey, excuse me, are you the Cars and Coffee organizer? Oh, yeah. Yeah, what's going on? Hey, they told me to park over there. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, Who's they? You know, there's a staff over there. Okay, well, what kind of car is it? You know, and it's something like, I don't know, a Jetta. It's like, yeah, sorry, man, like that's a spectator car. Now, occasionally, and this happened at the last event, a handful of nice cars were missed.
Yeah.
JDM stuff, you know, right-hand drive stuff, like really, really crazy stuff. I was like, yeah, bring it up here. Like,
you were grabbing them, I remember.
Yeah, I was like, yo, bring it.
Hey, go tell them to come over here. Yeah, I remember.
I was like, no, come back. And then, but people also came up to me because, you know, credit where credit's due. There were some really cool JDMs. I'm talking real JDM,
absolutely.
like not US JDM, right? Like real JDM stuff that just cleared the 25-year marker. You know, they can import it now. And I was like, absolutely, bring that here and park it in the grass. You know, park it in the center. So those are showcase cars. Like to me, it doesn't necessarily have to be a hypercar or supercar.
Yeah.
You know, it could start at, you know, supercar stuff, but it can go all the way down to this. It was like a 1960s Subaru mini bus or something.
Yeah, I remember.
So
yeah.
It was
amazing.
wild.
It was great.
So that all day, I mean, quirky, weird cars
get attention too.
They're going to get attention, and they're going to park in the showcase.
Absolutely.
Day in and day out.
Absolutely.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, you know, it's not about just being a supercar. It's also quirky, rare cars.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And there was, you know, like the Mazda had this car called the Mazda, I believe. Oh, the AutoZam, the AZ1. Pretty sure it was Mazda. And there's like this weird little thing. It was a 600cc. It's a key car. You know, that revs to something stupid like 10,000 RPM, but it made all of like 5 horsepower, right?
Yeah.
Not literally, but it was like, I don't even remember how much horsepower these things made, like 80 or something horsepower. But, you know, I've had that, and it looks like a tiny little miniature Ferrari Testarossa almost. And that's going up there in the showcase. Yeah.
Showstopper.
Because people are like, what the hell am I looking at?
You know which car's a showstopper? Our buddy D. He has an Eleanor Mustang. So our buddy D, car hangout app.
Yes, the car. Okay, so we got to get him here because people have to meet the guy behind the car hangout app.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, because we're always talking about car hangout app, and they have been associated with this event, with our events, and this podcast specifically. We really need to have D out here because like this is still one of our favorite apps, and you know we're so. Obviously, our man in Monterey, Pete Details, he's going to Monterey. He's going to be using this thing.
Yeah.
He's going to use the Car Hangout app to find some shows, to find some gatherings, some events out in Car Week for Monterey.
Yeah, and it's very simple. Look, it's pretty simple to use.
Google Maps, you know, look at you zoom out, find where you are, zoom in, select it, see what time it is, head out.
You can put it on your calendar too, which is it's cool. Yeah,
it has a calendar function.
Yeah, it does. Put it on your calendar. I mean, you could filter things, you know, what type of cars, if you want to see, you know, trucks, cars, motorcycles, whatever you want to see, distance. But it has a function to add it to the calendar, and which is pretty cool app. Yeah. And we definitely, I mean, his Eleanor Mustang, he has an Eleanor Mustang.
See that car. Yeah,
and
I love
he can tell you a funny story. You know, he can explain, but I'll say a little bit about it. Is when he bought that car is the day he found out he was having twin boys.
That's right. Oh yeah,
so,
I think he did say that.
He said that. I think it was twin boys, twin girls, but I mean twins.
You know what's crazy? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
I was gonna say, and still to this very day, he has the car. And everybody that watched the movie Gone in 60 Seconds, that's what propelled the GT500 to be what it is.
You know what's crazy? And this is something we can talk about probably next episode. We cannot use the word Eleanor Mustang with that. And if we're monetizing, believe it or not, we cannot. So Eleanor Mustang is a character from like the original Gone in 60 Seconds. It's a protected character, an IP, intellectual property, right? From the family that I believe the director of the original Gone in 60 Seconds, the writer, the creator, the director, when he passed away, there's a trust or something, and basically the guy's wife runs the whole thing. So if you're going to use like Eleanor Mustang in a YouTube video, hey, look at me, I'm going to build this Eleanor Mustang, they have the right to seize your car.
Oh, wow.
And that happened.
Wow.
To another YouTuber.
Wow.
He lost his car.
Wow.
Yeah. And we
need to touch that.
We can get into that next week.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to end this episode. We'll talk about YouTube stuff next week. Because a lot of people want to become YouTubers.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that next week? All right.
And let's also possibility of having 2 special guests next week.
We're gonna wait a little bit.
We're gonna wait.
We're gonna wait.
Okay,
it's gonna be in the 5th episode. We're gonna have a special guest.
Okay.
But we'll talk about YouTube, the pitfalls, the do's, the don'ts, all this other stuff, and like the things that can go wrong as a YouTuber. And we'll get to the Eleanor Mustang thing.
Okay.
All right,
Great.
guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you liked what you saw. We've been doing this. This is our 3rd episode. We're just doing this for fun. We want to interact with you guys. Please comment if you have questions for us. Ask us in the below the description.
Maybe special subjects you want us to talk about.
Yeah, anything you guys want to talk about.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be just cars and coffee stuff.
Yep.
If you want us to read a question here, if you want us to be Dr. Phil, we'll answer your relationship questions as well.
Or if you want to have, if you had something that happened at your show and you want us to talk about
Yeah,
it.
if you are an organizer, let us know.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear from other organizers. That'd be really cool.
Yep. Cool.
Alrighty. Thanks for
All right,
watching, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.
Have a good one.